right, wonderful. So, welcome to the Acacia University Virtual Learning Conference, September 23rd, 2025. We are meeting to have a brief discussion about some prompts, related to some prompts focused on our most recent course module, Module 3. You submitted professional development course syllabi. And one of the things we were hoping we could have a discussion about today is what did you gain most from developing your professional development course? And again, this is to really highlight your individual perspectives on school effectiveness and what you're gaining from the course. So we have three course members with us today, so feel free to jump in to respond to that first question, and we'll go to the next one, and then we'll round out this meeting with a check-in. So who would like to go first?
Hmm.
I don't mind. I'll go first.
Thank you, Photius.
Okay. Well, when I was designing the syllabus, I thought to myself, what would I like for professional development? And the thing that I absolutely hated was just being talked at for about an hour, right? So we don't do that to our students. We don't just sit and lecture them for an hour. We have active learn strategies, we have discussions. So I thought, well, why don't we do that to teachers as well? So from the the strategies that we had to pick, I picked the ones that are most found in teaching instruction. So think, pair, share, discussions, word walls, these kind of things. And I thought, well, how can I use that in professional development? So I found a way. And I just thought, well, if we're expected to not just talk at our students, then as teachers, we should model that. So that's my approach. And today, actually, this is a complete coincidence. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll be brief. We have a new vice principal at school, and every week we stay behind for an hour after school for professional development. And they talk to us for an hour with a PowerPoint. But this new lady, she was head of a boarding school, so I thought, uh-oh, more of the old traditional. No, she required us all to bring in mini whiteboards. She did think, pair, share. She did interactive quizzes with our phones, and we looked at the data. And I'm thinking, did someone leak my syllabus, or am I in a dream? But she used like similar strategies in professional development, and everyone loved it. They were engaged instead of just sitting scrolling on their phone. So, yeah, that was weird, but it was effective. I could see it. Yeah.
I think that it was similar for me, if that's okay, in that for my syllabus, I made sure to work on it. I think it was one of Marzano's strategies to have the peers work in co-groups and to come up with strategies that way so they can have communication peer to peer and then present to the larger group. So giving each small group tasks and then having them present. I think, oh yes, collaborative learning. That was one of the strategies that I really focused on for my syllabus, for the workshop. And it's actually kind of how I present when I present to the cadets. I have them break out in groups and work together. Because a lot of these cadets are coming from a professional environment as it is. And so I want to gain information and have the others gain information from some of their experiences that they're bringing to the table.
Wonderful. Ali?
Yes. Well, as mentioned before, I struggle with the accreditation we have in our school. It's upcoming. It's accreditation not by a normal accreditation company. It's from the German state. And the principal, the former principal, she had big problems with the stuff, with all stuff, and that's why the relationships between the teachers is very how can I say it? there are many problems I have to solve. So I think the first thing I am working on now in the school is to get better relationships between the teachers. And that's why they are now not ready to think about school effectiveness, because they are really very how to say, they are really they want to find themselves in this. Sorry for my English, I'm German speaking.
Never apologize
normally,
in this course, Ali. Never.
Okay, thank you.
We
And
appreciate your accent.
Thank you very much. And this is the main issue what I'm working on now, because we have two camps. They are saying we have two parties at the school, and they are not fighting, but they are not far away from fighting. And that's what I'm working on, to get them as a team. I want them to feel as a team, to only have the school as the main objective. And this is the most thing I have to struggle with today. And many things in this course and in the courses I've done at Acacia, it was helping me, really. Yeah.
Wonderful. And how do the exercises, the activities, the readings increase your awareness about school effectiveness? For example, Ali, you just mentioned building relationships with the teachers. And you have these various groups and you're looking to bring them together. How do the readings and the activities and the discussion inform your perspective about ways that you may not have thought about school effectiveness previously? Anyone can answer that. But the goal here, I think, with the second prompt, just to reiterate, is we hope that this course will increase your knowledge, right, about school effectiveness. And so I guess I'm getting at how have we been able to do that thus far, or have you had that experience thus far?
I think with me, as a teacher, I'm not privy to making decisions for the whole school. So I think when I look at the readings, I can link it to the practices in my school, but then I can reflect, well, how would those decisions being made at my school be better for teachers based on what I have read? So I tried to do that. Try to think, well, if I was making a decision based on what I've read, what would I change in my school if I could? That makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. Like we do have a professional learning community, but it's not like the one we read about 2 weeks ago. So I'm thinking, well, how can we make it better? Now I know a little bit more about PLCs. I can like have an actual like proper say when they ask us.
Wonderful. Judith or Ali, do you have anything else to add to that?
It's interesting because because I'm not in a full-time teaching community, I'm working in the academy. I'm always trying to translate that into how that could be incorporated into our cadet academy. So I do a lot of listening, number one, because I see that, we have principals, we have a lot of teachers that are full-time teachers. There's that gentleman that's in DC that's teaching bilingual. But because I am teaching more 3 or 4 times a month, I try to do a lot of participation in as much kind of professional development when it comes to standing in front of adults and teaching adults. And I think that one of the ways, and I don't know who it was that was saying it because I couldn't see your name, that a lot of the times I'll have my participants come in with their laptops and their phones. And I have to make sure to keep these adults engaged so they're not focused on what email is coming through. So that's why I'll put them in small groups. We'll do a lot of role-playing exercises. I'm doing a lot of prompts where they know then I'm going to kind of cajole them to give me answers to some of the questions that I'm putting on the board and things like that. So I think that within that professional development, I'm focused on keeping an interactive setting when I'm teaching.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Anything else to add, Ali or Botios?
I really like the assignment in researching a turnaround school.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the school I found. It wasn't failing. Like they weren't told you're failing, you have to change. It came from within. It was the principal and the teacher said, "Hey, we're failing. Let's do something about it."
Mm-hmm.
And just the little things that they made changes to, having professional development, looking at other schools and visiting them, reworking the curriculum, basic things, but it really did turn the school around. I just like the fact that they did that themselves without anyone saying change or close.
Yes. And
Mhm.
it's wonderful to see in some of the assignments how folks focused on community and cultural things, right? That serve to increase engagement, increase communication. I think there was an example of a multicultural festival at one school.
Mhm.
You know, just having those kinds of community-oriented activities do so much for, relationship building, trust building, and letting folks know that um, they matter beyond the classroom, that they matter within the community. I think is a very powerful example of being able to use non-teaching experiences or non-classroom experiences to create um, you know, or meet the goals of school effectiveness. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how you all will continue um, honing in on your professional experiences and observations
Mhm.
to help us understand school effectiveness. But I wanted to pivot a little bit to the assignment for this week and the case study analysis. We are going to be, I don't know, let me just ask you this first. Can you all see that, the guidelines for writing a case study analysis?
Yes?
Can you
Yes.
see that?
Yep.
Wonderful. And can you see the case studies there on the screen?
Yes.
Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. All right. So as I responded to an email earlier today, there are 6 case studies here. And so feel free to choose one. You don't have to do all 6, respond to all 6 of them.
Mm.
But I think what's wonderful about this activity is that you can now build on what you've already written about, whether it be focusing on a turnaround school or looking at professional development, being able to turn to those concepts that you've written about and incorporate them in response to the case study. So it's really important to, obviously prepare your case.
Mhm.
You want to identify 2 to 5 key problems. Why do you think they exist? How do they impact the organization? Again, using examples from other things that you've written is totally appropriate here. And then identifying, who are the key players, who are responsible for the issues. And so identifying, possible solutions, looking at course readings, looking at our VLC discussions, outside research or experience. All of those things are really important. And then making sure that your case study actually looks like this. I know that seems very simple to say, but I can't tell you how many times I've read case studies and they're not organized in this way. I think this makes for a really concise case study review when you actually have all of these items identified and structured in this way. Um, and it just makes it very clear for others to see, how you're prioritizing issues in the case. And then, of course, we'll be looking for those recommendations, those strategies, and you know, those resolutions to help us understand how to address the problem presented in the case that you select. All right.
Yes.
So are there any questions about this activity or
This
any
one,
thoughts you
because I've
have?
noticed in all the case studies, it says either 1 page, 250 words, or 2 pages, 500 words. This one does
Right.
anything. So is 1 to 2 pages okay? Or
Yeah, 1 to 2 pages is fine. You know, I don't expect you to be writing more than that. I think that's totally fine. And what I'll do is when I follow up on our VLC posts about our meeting today, I'll make sure that I'll reiterate the word count on that. So thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that.
I must say, I would like to say, I love the method behind this guidelines. The first time I saw it, and it was in another course, I said it's very, I don't have any freedom to think the way I want to think.
Mm.
And the first 2 times I did it, I hated it, but I must admit. But now really, now I get very used to it, and it is very clear. So when I keep on this method, I know I have to think that way. And after all, after reading my solution, I can see there is a solution, and it's logically built. And that's why I must admit I love it in between.
I agree.
Wonderful, wonderful. And it really, it also, I think it's a good primer to help to make some fundamental connections to your own professional experience. So for example, in the recommendations in
Yeah.
particular, being able to draw on your perspectives, reflections of your professional you know, working experience, your academic context, your region. We definitely want to encourage, you know, that connection, and you know, your ability to reflect on the relevance of that experience to the work here.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So any
Yeah.
additional thoughts or reflections? Why don't we transition to checkout for today? That would give us a good 30 minutes. No, those are your VLC posts. I don't want you to see those.
Mm.
You can see I read them all. I read them all. And I love them. You guys are doing such great work. Um, so yeah, let's check out. What are you guys thinking? Any final thoughts?
um,
Hmm. Hmm.
no, I
Yeah.
mean, I think so far that the course is going well for me. I think the activities and the case studies are clear. I like comparing my VLCs. I like reading other people's VLCs, even if I don't comment on them, because we have so many people around the world, each doing very different things. It's just interesting to get different perspectives. And sometimes it helps. It helps me like formulate my own independent ideas.
Mm-hmm.
No, the only thing is maybe the. Oh, actually, no, never mind. No, I'm good.
You're right.
Sometimes I think when I read the VLCs of my colleagues, I think, okay, everything, no, it's very clear. So, and I have to respond, of course, and I say, okay, what should I say? That's what you've done is good. Sometimes I struggle with these tasks. So I wish I could say it's okay, like thumbs up. It's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
think the same way, or I don't think the same way. It would be better, but I think all of us think in the whole time the same way.
Right. Whenever I'm
Yeah.
responding, I always have that right in the forefront of my brain where it's like, all right, we were asked not to say we only that we agree. So I try to pick up on either whether this is something that I could implement in my
Yeah.
workspace, or if I have any questions about how they can expand on that. So I try to although I generally agree with what they're saying,
Yeah.
I try to kind of either pursue more ideas on it or say how I can maybe add to it.
I find it
Yes.
helpful to connect it to something that, like in my experience, if they're talking about something and I've done it or it's happened to me, that that usually helps. 3, 4 sentences and just kind of relate to it.
Because I've had some experience in another course, and there was a quote from a great philosopher. I think I don't know from whom it was, but all the participants, they found it very nice, and they said it's the best quote ever. It's talking about this and that. And I wrote, no, I hate this quote. I do not agree at all with this quote. It was about legacy and doing fine to be remembered well after leaving the school or something like that. I didn't remember. And what I wrote, it was against the quote, but nobody of the participants did answer my my VLC.
So they're being polite at least.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's
Because
important to have that contrast and discuss it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody did.
absolutely.
I told the people, the other ones, because there are some participants I have seen in several courses now, and we are in touch. We write to each other sometimes, and I was against their opinion, but it's okay. It's of course okay because we can have different opinions. But I think I don't know. There is a spirit there in Acacia to think, okay, we have to think that way because it is. Like it is mainstream. We are, all of us are, we follow the same rules. We want the best education ever. I think I miss sometimes some critical thinking. That's what I miss sometimes in the VLCs.
Yeah, I have some ideas about that. I'll be posting some prompts uh
Mhm.
on feedback in particular. So
Mhm.
stay tuned for those. Um, I think my final comments today will be the fact, first of all, I really appreciated this check-in and having this conversation. I will be providing some additional feedback on the Module 3 assignments. So though I've posted grades, and I
Mhm.
sometimes I tend to post the grades before I post the feedback, only because
Mhm.
my feedback is handwritten and it tends to be a little transitioning that information onto the course site. Sometimes may take a little more time for me to do, but I always think about, I know folks want to know their grade. So, um,
Exactly.
yes, so I get the
You're
grade
right.
out
Great
and
first.
get the grade out first. And so typically I grade between Sunday, sometimes Saturday, depending on if everyone has gotten their information in, but usually Sunday through Tuesday. And so I'm sort of on the latter end of my grading schedule this week. So I'll be posting my feedback on your grades later today. So check that out either later today or sometime tomorrow. You'll actually get some written feedback from me that you'll be able to incorporate into your case analysis assignment. So, but all of you have done amazing work so far, and I am learning so much from each and every one of you. So I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing how you all approach the case study analysis.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
As a side note, I don't know if you all have been watching the UN high-level meeting this week, but I've been on UN TV all day, and
Oh.
it's been really interesting to see folks
Mm.
give their talks. So again, I just think it's another way to sort of get a sense of what's going on around the world, and since we have this global connection in our course. thought it'd be interesting to share that tidbit of information with you as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to definitely
Yeah.
watch.
I mean, Ali and I can relate. We have our perspective here, and it's always in the news. And then we look at news around the world, and it's like different things being said. It's very interesting when you take a step back and kind of let it all sink in at the same time.
Yeah, especially in my case, I do understand Arabic, and I watch, of course, the Arabic news and the German news, and there are so much differences between these two news, and that's why, especially in the topic of Gaza.
Yes. Well, hopefully at some point we can return to that conversation. But at this time, class is dismissed. I will see you all on the discussion boards.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Everybody.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.